a great, productive day. I'm out and about today, and just came from getting me a bite to eat, and was just doing some meditating on the state of what we see in terms of things that pertains to our community. And I know I touched on this on Saturday night, and I'm not sure if some of you guys are aware of the so-called concerns from this administration as expressed, concerns about so-called Christian genocide in Nigeria. And so just was thinking about this, and you guys, I encourage you guys to go and watch the lesson I did on dark sentences, and I really break down the deception that we see today about how this conniving person, and it's in the scriptures, Daniel chapter 8, going to use executive orders, policies, to push this delusion of this so-called peace, right? Which really is going to be the tool that he used, or this people are going to use to carry out their wicked agendas. All right, the false sense of peace. What's been happening over there in Northeast Africa under the false pretense of peace? As I stated, and guys, you guys know that those that have been following me for a while, I've called this stuff out. I've been calling this stuff out for quite some time. I even did a series called Battle for Africa. And I've been calling this out. This person, this commander in chief, or should we say commander in thief, has been making it clear about what he was going to do. Remember the videos I've been sharing, how he made comments about purging when they have a day of being rough with our community. And then when you go deeper and you look at some of the territories he mentioned, of course, you mentioned Nigeria, he mentioned Brazil, he mentioned Venezuela, he mentioned a number of different areas, but he started with, when it's all said and done, he pointed it and targeted Nigerians. Came up with this lie stating that how Nigerian prisoners were making their way into the country, just that fear tactics, that whole agenda about promoting fear, placing our face, on the, placing our face on their agenda. Whether it was to get rid of DEI, whether it's to go against a number of so-called programs like welfare, or even with SNAPs. Whose face do you see on SNAP? It's our community. But we're not the largest community that's benefiting from SNAP, that's benefiting from welfare, that benefited from DEI, that benefited from with some of the other programs that they put in place. We're not the largest group, right? But they had to, put our faces on it as a target to push their agenda. So now you see Nigeria is supposedly be a threat. He has a concern suddenly for what's going on in Nigeria. Go figure. He made it clear that he can't stand Haitians or the people of Haiti. It even spread rumors about them eating dogs and eating cats. He even called Haiti I'm not going to say the curse word, but you guys get my drift. It's documented. He did that in his last administration, calling Haiti and Africa a blank hole of a country or territory. So what's the agenda? What's the agenda? Why is Nigeria, why do they stand out? Why are they being targeted? Even though the representatives of Nigeria made it clear that that's an absolute lie. Even with this whole prisoners or, being sent over here in droves, that was proven to be a flat out lie. Why? Why? Let me get this idiot out of here. It's always one. And moderators, if you see any idiots that's posting stuff like this, I'm not even going to mention the person's name, but just block them. Just block them. It's always one or two in a bunch that want to come up and post some foolishness inside the chat. So and I've already blocked the person that I'm referring to. All right, so you guys know who I'm referring to. If you're not blocked, then that means I'm not referring to you. All right. Let me say that again. I've already blocked, and I know someone asking whether or not they are the idiot. If you're not blocked, you're not. Trying to substantiate this eating dogs and eating cats foolishness. All right. So, I'm going to call it like it is. But nevertheless, family, this person that they are referring to, or this group that they're referring to, is in Haiti for as, eating dogs, eating cats. But the thing that many of you guys may not know this, but, they are sending ships to Haiti. They're sending ships. They already sent ships to Venezuela. They now talking about sending ships to Nigeria. Why? 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 Now, why? Why is this? Why is this, family? Well, all of a sudden now they have a concern for Haiti, and he called Haiti a bleep hole of a country. Why this concern now for Africa when he called Africa a bleep hole of a country? Well, look it up, family. Nigeria spoke against the 1948ers. You guys know who I refer to as the 1948ers. Spoke up against them. Spoke up against them. Spoke up against the 1948ers behavior and what's going, with the things that they're doing in Northeast Africa. They spoke up against them a few times. A few times. And one of the things when you study about Nigeria, they when it comes to natural gas and oil, that's over $40 billion worth of export per year. $40 billion. And I believe they're number 14 in the world when it comes to natural gas exports. So why is this attention, right? Why is this attention? Again, oil, gas, Venezuela, oil, gas, Haiti, contrary to what you guys or what we've been led to believe about Haiti, there's some precious things that are within Haiti. I got to see if I can find a video. It's a guy that does a lot of traveling around the world, brother man, and he went to Haiti and he did a 1-hour documentary. Surprisingly, saw an area in Haiti that they, even the local government, keeps and have kept to be, untapped. That they're, you cannot just go to this area. I mean, it's like they literally, in a nutshell, it's off limits. There's an agenda behind it. There is an agenda behind it. It's more to it than what we think it is. Don't think that all of a sudden that now they're concerned about Christian genocide. While again, why the shift? Why the shift? I encourage you guys to watch the video that I did over the weekend. I played clips of him stating, fear mongering about Nigeria. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. This commander in thief can care less about our people. He don't care. He could care less about people that look like you and I. If you go back, and I'm gonna do a video clip about the whole. Remember the Central Park 5? Go back and watch some of the clips back then. He made it clear that his hatred wasn't just for the individuals that was accused, the young men that was young boys that was bullied into giving a false confession. He said he hated the people. He said he hated the people of these guys. Let me say that again. He said he hated the people. Family. Look at everything that's going on. Look at what's going on right now. He said he hates the people. And we have some of our brothers and sisters still supporting that foolishness. We need to come out of these systems altogether. Now, I know some of you guys will say, oh, he's railing against the current president. Do you know, for those that are watching, wasn't this Donald Trump that had hatred for our people? Joe Biden made some questionable comments about Haiti, about Africa. Joe Biden lied about his support during the civil rights movement. Joe Biden is on record saying that he didn't want his kids to be in schools or with people that look like you and I. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. So I want to make sure those that are watching, I'm not just discussing the current administration, but look it up, family. Joe Biden is on record of being caught up in a lie stating that he was rolling with the civil rights movement, that he participated in the civil rights movement, got caught up in the lie. Look it up. Look it up. And then when you look at that bill that they passed, the crime law bill, back in, I think it was like 1990, 1991, around that time, about that was based off of what took place with the Central Park 5, that allowed legal profiling. Guess who was at the forefront of that? He was, along with the Democrats. It was a bipartisan bill that passed. And you can read the bill yourself. Look it up. And you'll see the Republicans that didn't sign off on it. They didn't sign off on it because they felt like it wasn't harsh enough. Come on, family. Even when it was proven even a confession by the actual person that committed this heinous crime, proven through DNA and everything that he did it, the commander in chief did not offer an apology. Did not want to offer an apology. He still stood. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. So don't get fooled about what you see happening. This agenda of, that Nigeria, he's now concerned about Christianity, the Christian people over there. Come on, family. All these people are connected to the same people that have enslaved us. Make America great again. Oh man, I got some stuff I want to share with you that have been posted on what that looks like. And I can tell you that it does make America great again does not, our face is not on that. The agenda for that is based upon, when you go back to segregation and all of that. I tell you, family, the trolls are out, right? You see the trolls? So that's how you know when you strike a nerve, when you see trolls like this coming out. The paid trolls are out here. This commander-in-chief literally said that he was saved. God chose him to be a savior, to save the world. Oh man, family, we could go right down the list. We could go right down the list. I'm looking at some of the chat, man. These trolls are out here. If I could see everyone that's in here, I would definitely give you guys a wrench, but I can't see who's who through my phone, right? So I can't block. So moderators, you guys know what to do. You guys know what to do. So, like I said, family, don't get caught up in it. I got some videos I'm going to upload that's going to further expose this, and I'm going to re-upload some of the things from the Central Part 5, or really it was 6, the comments that he made. But it's not just him. His entire playbook pretty much it's similar to the 1948ers. Think about it. Think about all what the 1948ers are doing and have done, and think about what he's doing. Think about it. Think about what Netanyahu is doing. He's ignoring his local government. Actually, right? They want to arrest him. But because they are in war time, they're not. Even the commander-in-chief here with the so-called peace deal, right? Look it up. Try to intercede for him, so to speak, by saying, hey, asking the local government there to give him a pardon. Look it up. He asked them to give a pardon. He was over there in Israel and asked the people there to give Netanyahu a pardon. But because of the wars, that's why he's continuously doing these wars. It's because that keeps him in this kind of like a keeps them buffered from being arrested. Why? Because of the wartime things are wartime situations, so to speak, that's there. Family, it's real. So I'm just going to say to everyone that's watching, those outside of the trolls, and even the trolls, don't troll. Look it up. See if I'm making up anything. Come on, family. Think about all the lies he started spreading about South Africa, saying that the South African Caucasians are being, genocide towards them. It's crazy stuff that he said, only to turn out and been proven that he was lying. But again, Nigeria, our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, that whole Congo area, let the name go. Let that Nigerian name go. Why? Because that Nigerian name was not created by all the communities in that area. That Nigerian name was created by the very people that enslaved them, starting with King Leopold II. The Belgian Conference. What's her name? Flora Shaw. Flora Shaw is the Caucasian woman who came up with the name of that whole territory. Flora, Flora, Shaw is the one that named that whole area. Named that whole area. Because that whole area that is now called Nigeria, it was multiple countries that was there. It was multiple countries, but the Belgium Conference, they came together to segment it, slice it up. It was three countries, slice it up, right? And guess what? United States had a representative at the table too. That's not even the name, the proper name of the area. And I've proven it that if you really want to understand that whole area, right? Nigeria, originally part of the Sudan, you'll see that there are Hebrew names of the territories in that area. Now, King Leopold wanted what they call it, the rubber trees. Wanted the rubber trees. That's what they were after, that rubber. And between 15 to 20 million were murdered, were a massacre. Come on, family. Do your history. Nigeria, guess what? It's time to let go of everything that connects to the colonizers. It's time for you guys, in that area, change your name. Remove the mark of these Europeans. Because right now you're still bearing the mark of the Europeans, starting with what? The name. That's right, family. I saw some comments here. Yes, the Igbos. That's one of the larger tribes that have been proven to be descendants of Israel. The ancient Israelites have been declared by Obadiah Alliance to be connected to the ancient Israelites. Yoruba, the Lemba, which is in Mozambique, the ancient Israelites. And guess what? On those slave ships were who? From some of the tribes that I mentioned. Come on, family. We need to When we talk about coming out from among her, Babylon, which means confusion by mixing, we need to come out from these governmental systems, these universal systems. Slavery is a universal system that, even though we don't have the chains on us anymore, but we still have the chains inside our minds. We still have the hacks. So they came up with these labels, these names, to what? Keep us further divided. Look at what's happening in Tanzania. Look at what's happening in Tanzania. Some of you guys may not even be aware of that there was over 700 people that was killed because of what? Elections going on, political wars. Now the country in terms of the government is now it's like unstable, stable. It's a lot of things going on. And who has their hands involved in that? Again, Venezuela, the whole thing with that oil, but also they want to put in power whom they want to be in charge. Let me get some of this glare out. They want to put a Manchurian leader in Venezuela. I believe they want to do the same with Nigeria. They want to do the same with Tanzania. They want to do the same thing with some of these large, African nations over there. I encourage you guys, do the research on Gaddafi. Look at how he was betrayed. Man, when you study about Uganda, the president of Uganda at that time was Gaddafi's best friend. And Gaddafi was pushing for a united continent. But look at what happened. Do the research on that. Look how he was betrayed. His best friend was the president of Uganda. And for those that may not understand Uganda, guess what? There was a 1906 council where the 1948ers were trying to what? Use Uganda as being their new Jewish state. They were targeting Uganda. They were targeting actual Texas. They were targeting Canada. And guess what? There's a Jewish state in Russia right now. Look up the Uganda Council. That's right. Someone pointed to Argentina. That's the whole reason why you see Argentina. Look up the history about Argentina. And the connection to who? I'll give you a hint. The Scythians. The Khazarians. The Ashkenazis, because Ashkenaz is interchangeable with the name Germany or German. I want to make sure you guys understand that. These colonizers, or their agenda, it didn't stop. That's the whole thing about the whole Northeast Africa, in which they call the Middle East, which sits on the same tectonic plate of the continent of Africa. The whole situation in Middle East, Northeast Africa, is about colonization. To create a superpower in that region. Come on, family. It's so many nuggets out here. But let's get back to Nigeria. Brothers and sisters, I know I have no connection in terms of with anyone over there in terms of leadership and all that stuff. If I can just, someone come across this over there, someone that can start a movement over there to let go of the label Nigeria. Let it go. Let go of that name. Truly become free and independent. Get rid of these, come out of these religious systems of Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, and Judaism. Let me say that again. Get out of these religious systems of Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism. Get rid of these religious systems, because those religious systems, that's why there's so much division, because these colonizers use religion as a tool. You got to get out of that, family. We got to let go of these religious systems. That is part of the mark of the beast. 666 represents a system. Let me say that again. 666 represents a system of man. Man was born on, created on what? The sixth day. 666 represents a system, not some computer chip that many have reduced it to. It represents systems of men. Come on, family. Come on, family. I see someone asking the question, what is wrong with Christianity? What's right with Christianity? It was through Christianity that the colonizers did what they did. It was by, in the name of this religious system, that over 100 plus million Negroes, not just from the Congo, from throughout the continent of Africa, especially wherever the Israelites, the ancient Israelites were scattered to, were enslaved. All in the name of what? This religious system. Same thing about Islam. They were part of it too. I know someone say, what's wrong with Islam? They part of it too. They enslaved our people too. They had names for our people. Judaism, guess what? I did lessons on this. I'm going to do a special lesson. I may even do a lesson tonight, pulling all of this stuff out. Judaism, that's right, Judaism. And then under Judaism, enslaved our people. Look up Aaron Lopez. Look up Aaron Lopez. He lived in 17th, 18th century. One of the ones that dominated the slave trade. He owned so many slave ships. He owned so many slave ports, and he dominated. He's on record as being a Sephardic Jew. And that term Sephardic Jew was created by the Ashkenazis. That's a whole nother discussion. So all of these religions, and I'm not just speaking towards one, I'm speaking towards all of them. All of them preyed on our people. They used the so-called Arabic slave trade to push a religion on our people, which transitioned into the transatlantic slave trade, which is really what is really the proper classification of it, is World War. They used that to push what? Catholicism / Christianity on our people. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. If you want to be real about the word Niger, if you look it up, the word from an Ethiopian perspective, Niger actually is the word Negus. Negus is a what? Leader. It's a king. But through these religious systems, they profaned that name to make it into a negative term. Negus, Neagus, or Neegus, in the Greek is pronounced Niger. In the Hebrew is pronounced Nagad, or transliterated in the Israeli, Nagid. Come on, family. That was the title that Haile Selassie held in Ethiopia. Come on, family. But they profaned that word to make it into what it is. We would rather embrace the term kings and queens, especially when you understand the word queen. I never refer to my wife as a queen because queen, if you understand what the word queen means, look it up. Look just on your phones while you're watching this. Type in the etymology dictionary definition of the word queen. See what you come up with. You will not want to use that term again. Look it up. Look it up and then type it inside the comment section. Queen, Queen, comes from Qwean. And tell me what you come up with. And you will never use that term again. So they pushed us, they hacked into us to start using these titles that they want us to uphold, to continue to push their agendas and embrace, and completely remove ourselves from the ancient Hebrew titles. Again, Neagus is a title, a royalty. Nagad or Nagid, look it up in the scriptures. In the Hebrew, it means captain. So Nagas or Nagasti, that's a royal phrase meaning king of kings, lords of lords. Why don't they tell us about this? Why don't they tell us about what Nick NIC means? Nick NIC is the short form of Nig NIG, which comes from the word, there we go, going right back to Nigger or Niger, Harji, not this J stuff. The word Nicholas comes from what? Nigger. But they forced us to say, or hacked into us to say Niger. It's in the scriptures. What is Nicodemus' actual name is? Nicodemus' name is two names, Nick plus Dominus. Remember, Nick is the short form of Nig. Dominus. See how we've been hacked? Come on, family. So don't get caught up with this stuff with, Nigeria, the president want to protect the Christians there because, we got to protect the Christians. That's being, the genocide. Okay, if that's what you want to use, genocide, then let's start with Northeast Africa. Now recognized as the Middle East. That's right. Religion and drugs are our biggest problem. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So what's our next move? We got to start educating ourselves. We got to start really sounding the alarm to truly come out of these systems. For my brothers and sisters in Nigeria that's watching this, guess what? You are going to have to start a movement there to say we need to let go of this name Nigeria. What was the names of those areas? And embrace those original names that was there. That's right. Sugar is a drug. Absolutely. Who owned the sugar plantations? Who owned those sugar plantations? I'll give you a hint. 1948ers, anyway. Do you know, for those that may not be familiar with this, the Secretary of State for Nixon, whose name who goes by the name of Oh, now I can't think of his name. Oh, what's his name? Secretary of State. It'll come to me. Now I can't think of his name. Oh, now I can't think of his name. But the Secretary of State at the time for Richard Nixon. That's right. Kissinger, Harry Kissinger, or Henry Kissinger. He is an Ashkenazi Jew, and he is on record saying or making it clear that the Igbo is the wandering Jews of West Africa. So he acknowledged the Igbos back in the 60s as being Israelites. Even though we don't, I don't rock with the word Jew because of the political origins of why this word was created in the 17th going into the 18th century. I don't rock with the word, but we know what he meant when he said wandering Jews of West Africa. He acknowledged that the Igbo are Israelites. That's important. And you can see for those that may believe that I'm wrong about Kissinger, look it up. Just type in the phrase, Igbos, wandering Jews of West Africa, Henry Kissinger. And it's going to take you right to that quote. And you'll see an entry of Henry Kissinger in the Jewish Almanac 1980, confirming that he is an Ashkenazi Jew. And he bear witness in stating that the Igbo are the wandering Jews, recognizing that the Igbos, they are Israelites. That means that just from that tribe alone, 25% of every Negro that was on the slave ships, at least 25%, are part of the Igbo tribe. That's just the Igbos. I didn't even mention about the Ethiopian Jews, so to speak. I didn't mention about the Lemba. I didn't mention about the Yoruba. I didn't mention about the Bambara. I didn't mention about the Moroccan Israelites. I didn't mention a number of different Israelite groups. Angola, Sudan. And you guys know one of the famous Igbo slaves was Olaudah Equiana. Come on, family. Sudan means what? Foreign Judah. Foreign Judah. Let me say that again. Sudan means foreign Judah. Look it up. They know who we are, family. That's why there's so much hatred for us. That's what this agenda is all about. That's right, Mandinka. It's others. The Sonic people. The Muvambus. We could go through more, right? I'm just naming some off the top of my head. All in your DNA. I know when I uploaded my results to GEDmatch, it lists the Lemba, it lists the Ethiopian Jews, it lists the Yoruba, it lists the Moroccan, it lists the Ethiopian Jews, it lists the Igbo, it lists, come on, family. There's something special about you, Judah. I'm going to close with this thought because I don't want to sound like a rambling, but I just want to use this opportunity for those that may not be aware that over the weekend, the commander-in-chief made a post about Nigeria being a threat, that he has to do something about the genocide of Christians there. So I'm responding to that. Want to make you aware. Some of the other things that I'm pointing out, that's just my goal of making you guys aware of what's going on. The truth behind it. The truth behind it. Let's see here. Someone from Nigeria said, I am in Nigeria right now. It's no religious war. There you have it, family. He's right there. But we know propaganda has a way of pushing certain things. Like for the most part, pretty much when we think about how they painted the picture of Africa, it's like the entire continent. It's like a third world rundown country, which it's not. Even how we're programmed with the maps of the size of Africa. Africa is huge. You can put multiple United States in there. You can put Russia. Russia's not even close to the size of the continent of Africa. China. You can put Russia, China, and the United States inside the continent and still have room. Africa is the largest continent in the world. It had the most natural resources in the world. That's why there is a battle for Africa, the continent. So it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, whether the United States. Guess what? They don't care about that continent from the perspective of the people. They're currently doing what the Berlin Conference had done. They want to continue to dice up the area. So family, and I want to just close out with this for those that may hear me say rail against Christianity. I'm railing against all these Abrahamic faiths. I am an Israelite by blood, not by religion. I practice the law and the prophets, and I embrace the testimonies of the disciples. I'm making it clear, right? I embrace those. I embrace the literature that was written by our people. I don't call myself a Christian. I used to, but Christian, right? In the scriptures, they didn't. The ancient Israelites, the followers of the way, that's the true term of them. They didn't call themselves Christians. That was a slang that was created by the oppressors of that time. It said that they were called Christians. It didn't say they were calling themselves this term. Christianos, Christos plus Ianos means slave of Christ. It was a term of mockery. They refer to themselves as followers of the way. Even Paul is noted, I believe, in Acts either 24 or Acts 28, where Paul is acknowledged as being followers of the way. This is why you don't see the word Christian inside any of Paul's letters. They refer to themselves as followers of the way. I am a follower of the way. I am not a Christian. I am not, practicing Judaism. I am not any of those things. I'm not practicing none of that. I don't accept none of that. And the reason why many of our people embrace Islam, it's an interesting area. What is it? Sierra Leone. When you study the history of Sierra Leone, and that territory served as kind of like a sanctuary place for many of the slaves, right? In that area, brought to that area. Well, if you study that area, you'll see writings, and I have the book, I don't have it in front of me, that how our people at that time did not want to embrace Christianity because, of course, here's the brainwash. They didn't want to embrace Christianity because they didn't like the fact that those missionaries were whitewashing the Messiah. So they embraced Islam instead. Think about that for a minute, family. These missionaries, these spies, these people, when you start understanding King Leopold, he used missionaries as spies to push foolishness, to deceive, push deception, to push this institution of what we see today of how Christians operate. Some of the largest churches are in what? The poorest areas. Let me say that again. Some of the largest churches are in the poorest areas, the most rundown areas, but they got a large church. That's part of King Leopold's plan. Read the letter about King Leopold addressing his spies, teaching them the playbook, how to have our people be so focused on building these great structures, these great places of worship, with a rundown community, teaching them to be more faithful to the church, to the missionaries, than their own parents. Look it up. Look it up. Let me say this. Someone asked the question, if missionaries are spreading the gospel, what's wrong with that? Let me say this here. I encourage you to go look at King Leopold. And I'll just give you a little history on the word Godspell. I think you should do the etymology on it too. Actually, the word gospel comes from the word good spell. So when did the Most High preach good spell? When did Christ speak of good spells? There's nothing good about spells. The word God comes from the word G-O-T-T. The plurality is G-O-T-T-E-R. God, Gotter. That is the name or term for dead deities in the Norse religion. Deities that have no power. Deities that's going to what? Go to a place called Gotter Dan Marong. Words have meaning. Syncretism is how all of us been duped. The Bashar, some would say Bashur or Basura, the ancient word, and actually pronunciation is Bashar. Look it up. Someone said this is terrible etymology. Look it up. Type in gospel, and they're going to tell you that in the etymological dictionary definition of the word, that this is an error, the word God spell, that said that that O is supposed to be what? A long O, not a short O. It's supposed to be good spell. Look it up. Like Rakim said, if you got more, I'll wait, but don't make me wait too long because I'm going to move on. Look it up and tell me what it says in the entry. Just type in gospel etymology and then click on the link. It's going to tell you that God spell is an error. It's supposed to be good spell. The proper translation of it, the Bashar, is supposed to be good message. Anyway, let me just leave that alone, family. Words have meaning. Circling back, family, I encourage you guys, just really get up to speed. For some of you guys that want to get sources, I did a lesson series called Cult of Baal, and look up the lesson that I did on changing the name. And in that lesson, I actually teach on what I just pointed out. I give you the clarity on Gotter, God spell. I give you the clarity with that. I show you sources with that. I even show you how the Roman Catholic Church purposely took the words God and Lord and removed the Father's entries of his name. The sources are in the presentation. I can't do it right now because I'm not in front of my computer. That's part of what Revelation talks about. I believe it's Revelation chapter 14, when it talks about how this beast was going to have dominion over our language. Come on, fam. Nah, come on now. You're reaching now. Come on now. See, I don't like deception like this. Someone posted, good plus spell means story or news. Now you're lying. See, this is why Christianity can be a heck of a drug, because I'm going to further shut you down, right? I'm going to give you a homework assignment. In Luke chapter 4, when the Messiah spoke up and said that he is called to what? Teach. He's called to teach. He's called to heal. He's called to address, and I'm just paraphrasing chapter 4, when he announced himself to the people, reading out of the book of Isaiah, right? Show me the source scripture that he's referring to in Isaiah, and tell me if you see gospel there. See, this is where you lose credibility, because when you go to the etymology of the word, it tells you about the spells. Come on, family. You see, this is where when people want to reject the truth, they want to continue to hold on to lies, because in the etymology of it, it will tell you what the spell, it goes into details about the spells. Spell don't just mean story. It means charms. And when you look up the word charms, it'll connect you to the word of canary, incantations, songs, or words, or chants. See, this is what delusion would do. This is what doctors of men would do to you. See, you can't, I have no tolerance when it comes to stuff like that. When you have the information in front of you, and then you want to pick and choose what you want out of it instead of reading the whole context. Come on, family. I don't respect you. I don't want you to even, I thank you guys for even blocking a person, because you lose credibility. You lose integrity. Now show me Bashar in ancient Hebrew. Bashar means good message, good tidings. Anyway, family, let me get up out of here. I went a lot longer than what I anticipated on going. And I thank you, moderators. I want to say shout outs to my sister Melissa, I didn't even realize you was inside the building. Tell my brother Jerry I said hi. Man, love you guys. Really love you guys. And family, I may even do a special live and bring that lesson back up. And for those that are trolling, I'll do that lesson. And I'll show you the sources, and I'll show you the agenda. I'll show you how the other nations targeted, starting with the Roman Catholic Church, purposely. Let me just say this here. Here goes someone again. You're talking more about etymology of words instead of trying to spread what Jesus said. Guess what Jesus said? I'm going to target you. Do you recall what Jesus said a number of times? Have ye not read that you err because you don't know the truth? Jesus. Do I need to break down the name Jesus, the transliteration, and the agenda behind that transliteration versus Joshua? How is both of them have the same ancient name, but you have two different transliterations? You have Joshua, that is the correct Hebrew transliteration, versus Jesus, that is the Greek transliteration. Why don't you see it point all the way back to the Hebrew? Why do you see Jesus, the Son of the Father, right? The Son who always gave homage, paid homage to his Father, all the way to the point he said, when you pray, our Father, Abba Yah. Why do we see this transliterated name Jesus versus Joshua? Because there's an agenda there. The agenda is to emasculate the Father by telling you, guess what? You can never use and giving us this lie that the Father's name is so sacred that they lost even the pronunciation of it, even though it's thousands of times all through the law and the prophets. But they say this name could never be pronounced. But the Roman Catholic Church signed an edict, made it clear not to use or write the name down and put Lord and God. But you see the name Jesus, but you don't see the Father's name. Why is that? You see the name Jesus in the renewed covenant, but you don't see the Father's name. You see this generic construct called God. Most Christians don't even know the Father's name. Most Christians would rather say God than even to say the short form of his name, which is Yah. God is not his name. This is why the confusion is. Is Jesus God? Why? Because emasculate the Father's name, then promote a Greek transliteration of the actual Hebrew, right? A Greek transliteration of transliterations. To push a Greek transliteration, put agenda behind it, right? Because truly they did not want to have the early Christians, as far as the Christian church, right? They didn't want to have any association with the law and the prophets. They did not even want to have what they called the Old Testament as part of their canonical books. Had they not included it, then Christianity will only be a century or two older than Islam. Come on. And you want to ask me the question, why am I dealing with etymology? Because we need to deal with the key of these words that many are using. Because if you understood the etymology of words, then guess what? You will change your behavior, how you view the text, starting with the word church. The word church is not how can I put it? It's a Celtic word that means circle. The Catholic or Christians, which is synonymous, they began to use that word that's a Celtic word in the 4th century. The Messiah never said, on this rock I will build a church. In the Greek word, you'll see ecclesia, and the word church does not come from that. It comes from the Greek word kurios oikos. Kurios oikos. And when you look at the word church, it's synonymous with circle. And when you understand that, the true church is Stonehenge, because it's a circle. Their place of worship was a circle. Oh, come on now. You want to go there? I'm going a little geek mode on you. Now, let's see if you're going to actually do your homework and prove me wrong. I want you to do that, because I know when you actually research this truth, it'll change your whole perspective. Shoot me an email once you actually do the truth. I could do this all day because I've been teaching this for years on top of years. Look it up. I challenge you. I challenge you to go to the root of why you see Jesus in Joshua versus Joshua's name, or Christ's name being named Joshua in the renewed covenant. But you'll see a slip up. I believe it's Acts chapter 7, when Stephen is giving, a synopsis about the historical account of what the Most High did for the Israelites. You'll see Jesus Name being used for Joshua, being the successor of leading Israel into the promised land. That's how you can prove that they had the same ancient name. Yahweh Shah. Some of you guys would say Yahashua. Come on. You err because you don't know. Have ye not read? The Messiah said that to the Pharisees. He said that to the Sadducees. You know, those the Sadducees, the ones that don't believe in resurrection. Have ye not read? Because if you listen to what I stated, what I said, you would not even ask the question. With that being said, family, with that being said, just block the person. Don't even keep removing his comments. Just block the person. So let me say one last thing, because the person said God's word is perfect. You know what also let's not just put a generic term out there. Let's go to the 19th book of Psalms, verse 7, when it says, the law of Yahweh. Some would say Yahweh, some would say Yahuwah, but the ancient pronunciation is Yahweh. The law of Yahweh is right for converting souls. Uh-oh. And then when we go down to the word commandment, we'll see the word perfect. Wait a minute. Come on now. Let me say this again to you. Someone said I was with you until you said Stonehenge. I challenge you to look it up. See, just because, family, don't you know, leave that. I wish you'd have left that comment there. Stonehenge is the name where the church come from. That's the original church for who? The Celtics. The Celts or Celtics, they use the word church. So whether I lose you or not, doesn't mean that I'm wrong. I don't have the source in front of me. But I'd rather for you guys to be on it than not on it. So no need to apologize. So family, anyway, I'll do a special teaching. I'll do it tonight. I'll redo the teaching. And I encourage you guys, pull out your notes. I'll do it especially for some of the, I'm not even going to call the person a troll because he or she asked a good question. And I want to show you, because they said, you lost me when you said Stonehenge. Yeah, Stonehenge is the original church. Now, if you want to go into the details, let me just break this down real quick. Ecclesia, look it up. Ecclesia, just type in Ecclesia, you know, and ask for the Strongs. And when you go to the Strong's in-depth definition of the word, it's going to tell you a called out congregation, a called out assembly. A called out assembly, then you're going to also see the Israelites. So the called out assembly of the who? Israelites. Well, Pastor, you're going to have to prove this to me. Well, when you go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, you're going to see the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel. Well, what does that mean? Assembly, quahal. Okay, all right. And then when you get to witness, which actually will say congregation, but when you get to witness, you'll see the ancient Hebrew word idah. Now I'm saying it in ancient Hebrew, not the Israeli, because it's pronounced edah in the Israeli. I'm saying it from the ancient Hebrew. So the actual phrase you will see in the ancient Hebrew will be kal, which means all or whole, quahal, which means assembly, adath, which means witnesses, yashara'al. I just gave you the ancient Hebrew of that, right? So what does that mean? That gives you what the Messiah was actually stating, because we're dealing with a Hebrew text. The Messiah spoke to his people in their native language. So when we see called out assembly, the Israelites in the strong concordance, the in-depth definition of the word, that's actually tying into what I just pointed out. Ha, kal, quahal, idath, yashara'ah. I just broke it down for you. All right? I just broke it down for you. All right? All right, someone already got me. That's right, moderators. That's right. Especially when he curse like that, don't even just put him in timeout, block him. So I'm just pointing that out to you, family. Let me go ahead and get up out of here. I've been sitting in my car for a little bit, longer than what I anticipated. I anticipated on this being a 20-minute live, but it went a lot longer because I'm looking at some of the trolls, and I'm not going to call everyone a troll because I saw some great questions, which led me down to a little freestyle off the top of my head. All right, but I encourage you guys. We'll do a special live. I'll probably do it tonight. Since I have time on my hand, I'll do it tonight and we'll go in. All right. But with that being said, family, be encouraged, be safe. Hallelujah.